One of the important concepts in Android is notifications. Notifications are cool because this is the best way to let a user know something is going on without requiring them to deal with it right away. So, in this session, the first thing we are going to look at is notifications. Then, how to create one. Then we have something called notification actions and pending intents, which is the ability to provide multiple actions for the user to perform directly from the notifications. We will also learn how we can set the priority for displaying notifications, how to create custom layout for the notifications, and lastly, how to manage these notifications. What are notifications? Perhaps you get an email or an SMS or any application update. As on the screen, an example shows two kinds of notifications. These notifications are probably the most familiar out-of-app experience. And a notification has a lot of components. Here it has 3 by default. One is small icon. It is the icon that shows up in the notification bar, indicating that there is a notification. Second, we got the title, which is the large text appears at top of the notification. And then you have got the text itself, which shows some detailed text. Notification are messages that appear in a list at the top of the screen. Android will notify the user and store it in the notification area. If the user doesn't happen to see the notification at the time it was created, it doesn't matter. You can still see them by dragging a finger down from the top of the screen to open the navigation drawer. Now, the next thing we are going to look at is how to create a notification. When we create a notification, Android uses the builder pattern to do that. And all the builder pattern means is that rather than constructing an instance of notification object directly and setting a whole bunch of properties on it, what we do instead is we construct an instance of a builder class, identify all the features that we want in our notification. To do that, build a class, and then when we are done, the builder class builds the notification itself for us and give it back to us. So we have Android builder classes, that is notification compact builder. So with the builder class, we set the notification properties like text, icon, and title. Now simply creating a notification is not enough to display to the user. We need to get access to the notification manager or notification manager compact class, which is used to issue the notification by calling notify of it. Here, how we will use these classes and defining the reference variable for it. Notification manager class is a system service. So to use notification, you first need to instantiate notification manager to be able to get the proper context called get system service with the name notification service. That will give us back a reference of notification manager, and that's what you use to manage all interactions with our notifications. So this is how it works in 3 simple steps. First, create an instance of a builder class, identifying all the features or properties that we want in our notification, like set the title by set content title, set the detail text by set content text, and set the icon by set small icon. Second, when we are done with setting properties to it, the builder class builds the notification itself for us. Third, with the notification manager's notify method, make the icon visible on the notification bar. So it constructs up the notification and it can have an integer ID, which should be unique for each of your notifications. It's important that you uniquely identify your notifications because when we create a notification, its identity is scoped with any application that shows it. Now, let's see what are other properties you can add to your notifications with learning about actions and pending intents in the notifications. The other thing you can do is that you can associate a click action with the notification UI. So the notification performs action on behalf of your application. So one of the things we normally want to do is that when we show someone a notification, you're giving them a summary on the notification. When they tap on it, it takes them to the details of it, like an OK for the action to just open an activity of your application. We have something called a pending intent, which puts the intent inside of it and represents the target action with it. In simple words, pending intent is a way to run your intent from application. And as what the name implies, it's an intent with which the notification is then free to fire it later. It can also be like a token that you can give to a foreign application, which allows you to execute a predefined piece of code as if the foreign application was yours. In most cases, the way we associate an action with a notification is by using intents. We just use the builder's setContentIntent method. So, anything you can represent with an intent can be associated with a notification. It's very powerful, but in most cases, what we are going to do is open up an activity when the user taps a notification. So, it goes into the activity to see more information about it. We can add multiple choices of actions represented with adding buttons that will act as the definable actions to the notifications. This is how we can define the intents that represents the action with pending intents to get activity, get service, or get broadcast. Now, the definition of pending intent takes 4 arguments. First, the application context. Second, the unique notification ID for pending intent as a requested code. Third, the intent to be delivered. And fourth, the flag which determines how system handles when getting the multiple pending intents from the same application. Step 1. This is how we create an intent object. And in step 2, this is how we create a pending intent. And the way I do that is I used one of the static methods on pending intent. That is, if we want to get activities, I just say get activity. And inside this method, I pass the context. Next is the notification ID. I passed any intent that I want to wrap, and I will use the flag. Alright, that constructs the pending intent. And now, what I need to do is to go to the builder and say setContentIntent and put the pending intent inside there. Use add action to the notification using builder to have definable action buttons in the notification UI. It takes 3 arguments: the icon, the caption, and the pending intent object to fire the notification later. We now know how to create notifications. Let's see how we can define the priority in the notification drawer. The other thing we can do is we can control a notification positioning by setting the priority in our notifications, by making something a high priority as it appears near to the top. The notification can be visible in terms of priorities and levels. Minimum priority notifications will not show in the status bar. The user will only discover them when they expand the notification tray, and it ranges from priority min, that is -2, to priority max, that is 2. The notification priority level on status are ranging from 0 to 5. So, priority above 0 triggers hands-up notification on the top of the current UI. These priority levels you can use for setting important notifications, such as phone calls. But again, use caution with these sort of things because you don't want notifications popping up all over the status bar unless they are the important notifications. To set the notification properties that will be inherited from the system defaults, you can set it for system default sound. So, when notification that is noisy is more likely to be presented as a heads-up notification. And you can set it for default vibrate and for default light as well. Now, we will go through with some of the common layouts. So if you don't like the default layout, you can build one of your own. So you can change the default style of notifications by putting large text or images. Let's look at them now. To include more text that will fit in the standard view, you can do it with Notification Compact's big text style. And to add a big picture within the notification UI, include image with setting big picture style. Notifications can include an animated progress indicator that shows user the status of an ongoing operation also by setting set progress bar. First, it takes the max value for the progress bar. Then, as your operation proceeds, second is the increment progress, And the third argument is a boolean that indicates whether the progress bar is indeterminate, true, or determinate, false. If you can estimate how long the operation takes and how much of it is completed at any time, use the determinate one. And if you don't estimate the length of the operation, use indeterminate. You can also add media, such as music, with setting media style. Here is an example of how to set the style with Notification Builder for adding big picture and big content title. After setting all the properties for notifications and creation, we require to manage it also. If you need an updated notification, you can issue it with updated parameters using Builder and calling notifier of Notification Manager to state that the notification has been changed. In case if previous notification is still visible, the system will disable it. And if the previous notification has been dismissed, the new notification is created. It is not always possible that the user will go and look into the notification. You may want it to automatically clear when the user taps on it. You control that by calling builder set auto cancel and it disappears. If your app sends too many notifications, user will disable notification or they may uninstall your app. So don't give your user the frustrating experience with so many notifications. You must follow the design guidelines for designing notifications using this link. To learn more, be sure to check out the reference link about notifications. Our next practical will help you practice on implementation of notifications. Keep learning and thanks for watching.